Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about, do you want to have kids? Do you want to wait to have kids? Do you want to get rid of your kids that you currently have?
We got married fairly young, and we both just decided for many reasons we didn't want kids. And then at some point we heard the acronym DINK, and I think just really fell in love with it.
There are more Americans that are deciding not to have children, and it's purposeful.
Senior Director of Advice, Wells Fargo?
And it's purposeful.
This new trend has led to the rise of a new type of household, more commonly referred to as DINKS, Dual Income No Kids.
Oh yeah, Dual Income No Kids, that's perfect for us. That's absolutely right.
Children are the death of net worth. Pretty crude, but honestly very true.
This household configuration.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I know plenty of wealthy people who have children, lots of children.
And of dual income partners living alone without children is on the rise. In 2022, it was around 43% of households, and that's about a 7% increase from a decade previously.
In 2022, 43% of Americans surveyed said they'd want to get married, but just a little more than a quarter said they were sure about wanting children.
So assuming we're asking the same group, do you want to get married? You're asking unmarried people, so they're going to be younger. Do you want to have children in the future? And people will change their minds later in life. So 56, do you want children? 56 in the future. 28, that seems awfully low. But it's with people who currently aren't married. I'd like to know the age range of this poll.
The term DINK is becoming more prominent now because of financial challenges, and they see children as just another financial challenge that maybe they don't want to take on.
So what's it like to live with a dual income and no children? And will it be the future of American households? According to a 2023 survey of DINKS, finance played a major role in their decision to not have children. More than a quarter of respondents.
These guys look pretty wealthy to me. This is a pretty nice stove. MacBook. It depends on where they're at, of course. Who knows what their rent is.
Said they simply aren't able to financially support a child at the moment.
When we advise clients about having children, we honestly don't even give them the full real details and the real numbers. It's one of those things, if you actually see the math of it all, it might...
Is this the Wells Fargo lady? What is she doing advising people about having children?
Make you decide to not have children.
It costs the family an estimated $310,605 to raise a child born in 2015 to age 18, adjusted for higher future inflation.
Again, I've said this before in previous videos, that 310 goes down the more children you have.
That doesn't even include the cost of college.
So if you look at inflation within the child care market, it surpasses general overall inflation within the economy.
Some couples are contemplating having children at the same time that they're still paying off student loans that they incurred when they were 18 to 22 years old.
One of my very closest friends, she's been struggling with the reality that the take-home pay she makes is about equal to what childcare would be. That's a really hard position to be in. Seeing our friends really...
Don't even worry about it, guys. I already looked it up. Hot and Unbothered. How to think about, talk about, and have the sex you really want. Should I link to this? Popular culture is saturated with sex. The gap between informed sex education and satisfying sex is vast and often leaves LGBTQ plus individuals out of the conversation entirely. They just probably have a lot of really kinky sex. Maybe it's good that they don't have kids. All power to them.
Struggle with that balancing act has, I think, made me appreciate...
I mean, come on. They specifically chose this book for this. They knew they were going to be on the news.
The flexibility that we have financially because we don't have children.
Besides saving on childcare, DINKS can also fully reap the benefits of combining their finances.
To look at both of our incomes coming in and see how we're able to handle all of that because we don't have extra finances with a child, it's much more comfortable. We get to focus more on...
Wow. They look way different. Oof.
Comfortable. We get to focus more on the things that we want to do and saving a lot of that money for the future, and worry less about the day-to-day finances of the house and our bills.
Money isn't the only expense that DINKS can save on.
The free time is actually one of the biggest things for me. So we built me a little office / bedroom out here. We definitely have some more expensive hobbies. I build mechanical
cool.
keyboards, like computer keyboards in my spare.
See you next Tuesday. Best in show. It is a euphemistic way of saying see you next. Oh, I'm an idiot.
Build mechanical keyboards, like computer keyboards in my spare time. And just parts and stuff for that can be very expensive.
Not having children has given us the freedom to pursue other things, remodeling our home. I'm a beekeeper.
I'm really handy and I like doing stuff around the house.
Ah, come on, you can do all that
I
stuff with
wouldn't
kids.
have the time to just do that after work if I feel like it, if I had, a child
Make your
to
kids
care
do the
for.
work.
Fewer expenses leave DINKS with more disposable income to play with.
I say that as I constantly have to yell at my kids to pick up the dog crap around the house and mow the lawn. Yeah, it's not as easy as I'm saying it is.
Disposable income is power, it's stability, and for many couples, it's security.
The security that having 6 months of income saved for emergencies gives you, that security was so helpful to us during COVID when I was out of work for 6 months.
Let's have like a smaller tractor style. Next year we're gonna get a zero.
We have more tolerance for chaos, I think, because of our savings.
You'll build a tolerance for chaos if you have a couple of kids. For sure. That's the first thing you'll start to tolerate.
Savings goal, which is like our shoot for the stars and hit the moon kind of, is saving $4,000 a month.
That is a lot of oranges for 2 people.
A month?
According to census data, DINKS can save 9% more for retirement each year compared to dual income couples with children. Another 2021 study found that childless adults aged 55 and older had a personal median net worth of $153,900, compared to $130,400 for biological parents.
If you have $1,
That's actually less than I thought it would be. I would have thought it would have been higher. Hey, cat. Say hi.
and if you have to choose how to use it, a DINK can prioritize savings, retirements, investments, both in the equities market as well as things like real estate or second properties.
The hardest part of investing is just having the cash to do it. And so when you don't have your cash going to expenses that are related to children, that cash can go into those investment goals.
We started investing in our early 20s. I feel really safe because we have this strong nest egg of ETFs that are accessible and fairly liquid. And then we also have our long-term savings, which are, tied up in IRAs. We can choose what our aging years look like because we've saved to plan for that eventuality.
It is well documented that the younger you are when you start your savings and your retirement portfolio, the better off you are in the long run in terms of aggregate savings and your ability to accrue savings and wealth.
Just take the $310,605 it would take for a middle-income married family to raise a child.
I know this video is the finances of children, but I would say that the mental strain and just the extra work is far more of a drain. It's more than just the money. Having to constantly deal with kids fighting, having to, even when they're young, changing their diapers, staying up late at night. So I know that they're talking about how this is like a financial struggle having kids, but I believe that once they have kids, they'll realize the actual struggle is more just extra work. All the work you have to do to take care of kids, going to PTA, meeting with teachers, I guess that's the same thing. Meeting with other parents, setting up play dates, making sure they're potty trained, making sure that they are to school on time. All of that, I think, is more of an expense than the dollar amount. I empathize with the fact that kids cost extra money, but I just want to make clear that it is actually more of a drain and more of an expense besides just the dollar amount.
While child expenses can vary significantly by age and location, that could easily represent more than $15,000 in otherwise investable funds per year. Consider the power of annually compounding interest, and that $15,000 per year can grow to more than $500,000 in just 18 years, assuming 7% annual returns. This nest egg could also help DINKS secure more assets for themselves.
Dual earner adults living together who both have jobs and have been saving are really able to put a heftier, relatively large down payment on a home, which then reduces their monthly mortgage and has all of these other benefits. You're paying less interest over the long run.
I was fortunate enough to have a good little nest egg gifted to me by my grandparents, and that helped us buy our first house. But then from there, living in that house, living in a place with a lower cost of living like Utah, having dual income helped us.
So yeah, they're in the same place that I'm living. I don't know what they do for a living, but if they're both working and they're making average income, they are in a position. Well, I won't say that because I don't know their circumstance. And some people have a higher expectation of what they want, the life that they want their kids to live. So if they can't afford to put their kid in private school, then maybe they feel like they aren't ready to have kids. So I won't pretend to know where they're at financially.
Us build all this savings so that when we sold that home and moved to Massachusetts, we had an even larger nest egg that allowed us to buy a more expensive home in a higher cost of living area. I'm not totally sure where we would be if we had a child as well.
That extends beyond just purchasing
a lot
a
of
home.
property.
There are lots of big item, big ticket investments that we tend to make earlier on in adulthood. To the extent that we can pay as much of it as possible up front, that does have a rippling benefit for us as we age.
But the rise of DINKS isn't such great news for the economy as a whole. Historically, lower birth rates have been associated with slower economic growth. And critical social programs such as Social Security depend heavily on population growth.
We shouldn't strive to have a generation of young adults that are not reproducing. That would not be healthy for society. It wouldn't be healthy for the economy.
That's only true because of the way that we have our Social Security system set up, where the working pay into the system and the system pays out into the non-working. But that's the system we have. So yeah, it is a problem.
Wouldn't be healthy for us as we age. So there are a lot of reasons why we do want to take investments in the next generation seriously.
For DINKS, the biggest challenges are often not financial.
And I think we freaked a lot of people out when we were just a young married couple, and that was all. There was no baby afterwards. I had family members asking if something was wrong because it's been 5 years of a young, healthy couple not producing a child.
I think that there is a self-care aspect that is minimized when you're a DINK. So there are many mom groups or, daddy-daughter dances. There aren't groups for, hey, I'm a professional woman and I just want to go home and read a book and take care of myself tonight.
I think on the other side of that, there can be times where in certain circumstances
Do they necessarily need the support? I mean, they can just have friends and go out and hang out with their friends and not worry about being home at a certain time to get the kids to bed.
circles, it's harder to make friends.
There is also the potential for more financial responsibility from other family members.
There could be additional pressure.
I don't know if I buy that. I know plenty of people with kids who are socially awkward and don't have hardly any friends. I don't think that there's a correlation there. I think if you're part of a church group, I know a lot of people that started going back to church because they had kids and they wanted their kids to have an environment, or they wanted to basically create a social network for them. But I mean, you can do that as a single couple.
There could be additional pressure as dinks get older for people within their family to assume that they can take care of certain obligations. For example, if you have an aging parent, dinks might be the ones that are relied upon because it's presumed you have disposable income or you have disposable time to take on these responsibilities.
According to experts, the number one advice for dinks is to prioritize savings and figure out clear goals for the future.
If anybody is considering becoming a dink, as a financial planner, I highly recommend that strategy. I recommend it to my clients. When my clients tell me that's an intentional choice they're going to make, I am a big fan of it.
With that disposable income, make a budget. How do you want to spend it? Make sure you put aside some money for fun, but also make sure you put aside some money for investments, and they can be traditional or non-traditional investments, and then revisit it annually to make sure it still makes sense.
I think if you're considering not having children in your life, make sure your partner's on the same page as you and that you have confidence in that value in isolation without your partner too.
Yeah. Don't go into the dink lifestyle just like, oh, I don't have kids, so I just have more money and can do whatever. It still takes the work of like planning for your future, putting money away. If you're not gonna have kids, make sure you still save money for your future, because the world is a weird place right now, and who knows what it's going to be like in another 30, 40 years when we...
Well, true. You may change your mind later, and it'll be nice to have a nest egg.
Go to retire.
Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about, do you want to have kids? Do you want to wait to have kids? Do you want to get rid of your kids that you currently have? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Jake Day. Peace out.